Hello, welcome to my live stream. I will wait a couple minutes for people to join. I am going to be sharing a Wedding Wednesday themed live stream today, which is very exciting because every few Wednesdays, it hasn't been as consistent recently, but on my Instagram, I sort of just, ask questions to my community about what I should do for my wedding or just like fielding advice. And I'm bringing that to Verishop today because I've been working on my wedding registry and it's been a lot of fun. It's probably one of the most fun parts of wedding planning. So I'm excited to share a little bit about that. If you have any questions about my wedding, I'll give you guys a little overview. But if you have any questions, just leave them here and I will answer them as we go. Okay, so a little bit of background. The last time that I did a Verishop live was in October, like the first week of October, 6 months ago. And I was getting ready. I think I was actually packing for my trip to Mallorca. And on that trip, I got engaged to my now fiance, Christian, who is in the comments here, my biggest fan. And it was amazing. He proposed on my birthday. We were meeting friends in Mallorca like 4 days after we got there. And it was my birthday that Sunday. We got there on Friday, I think, or Saturday. And I'm very type A, so didn't think that, he would be able to surprise me with an engagement. Kind of knew that it was like coming soon, but, one of my best friends tipped me off that it probably wasn't going to happen in Mallorca. And so I sort of just got over that before we left. And I was like, it will happen probably with like all of our friends and family. And then on my birthday, he had all of these surprises planned for me. And one of them was this incredible picnic that our hotel in Mallorca set up for us, which was dreamy. They put together like this entire picnic basket. I would say like this picnic basket should have been for a party of like five. But nonetheless, we ate all of it. We drank all the wine. And right after we set up the picnic, we were sort of like looking for a spot on the beach, at this famous beach in Mallorca. And we found a spot on this cliff that was like a little bit secluded. And Christian could not wait, popped the question immediately. And I was shocked. But it was the best thing ever. It was so fun. I was so surprised. He proposed with my beautiful ring. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that we call her Emma. She's an emerald cut. I'm obsessed with her. And I know that I get a lot of questions about like the whole ring process. So I'll just address that quickly. I I sort of didn't know what kind of ring I wanted for a long time. I loved round brilliance. I wanted something that was like classic, but I also wanted something that felt really true to me and, had a little bit of edge to it. And I went to an event a couple years ago and tried on a longer ring. So originally I thought I wanted like a round brilliant, which is just the circle diamond. And I went to this event and tried on a radiant ring, which is also sort of like the same rectangular shape, but a lot more sparkly than emerald, and fell in love with just the way that the shape looked on my finger. I have pretty long and skinny fingers, and just loved it. And then, as I talked to Christian, and we've been together for almost 10 years now, we'll actually be getting married for our 10-year anniversary in September of 2023. So we have a little bit of time, but it's been amazing just being able to plan everything and go through the motions of taking the time to really be intentional and come up with a very meaningful celebration. But over the course of the last 2 or 3 years, we've had the conversation about rings, And I, eventually just fell in love with emerald cuts. I just felt like they were so timeless and so beautiful. And I loved them. And Christian, I like remember showing Christian a bunch of different shapes of diamonds probably a year and a half ago, and he gravitated towards an emerald cut as well. And so, yeah, that's how we came up with the emerald cut, and I'm absolutely obsessed. Um, I think that it's funny how, like, once you get engaged, you just notice, like, who else has the same style of ring as you? Or even, like, we're getting married in Tuscany, which is really exciting. And getting to connect with so many people who are also planning destination weddings, especially after the last, you know, couple years of being in quarantine and not being able to really like plan a lot of celebrations together and a lot of weddings getting pushed back. It's really exciting for us to be able to look a year and a half in the future and start planning now. We've had so many calls, but one of the most exciting parts, and I have always known this, was going to be planning my registry. And when Verishop reached out to me, I obviously have a long-term relationship with Verishop. I love Verishop. I have been shopping on Verishop for much longer than I've been partnering with them. But when they reached out to curate sort of a wedding registry on Verishop, I jumped at the opportunity. I was so excited. And so today I'm going to share with you three of the pieces that I added, but then we can sort of talk about, how I'm coming up with a registry and how I'm thinking about adding things to it. So the first thing is that I felt really overwhelmed when I first started thinking about the registry. We are very privileged and have a beautiful apartment. And I also just love interior design. I love curating everything in my home. And so we've put a lot of time and energy and money into a lot of pieces that we genuinely love. And I think that that's what sort of made it tricky for our registry, because I really buy things with intention and want to buy things that last a really long time. But when you come up with a registry, I think a lot of times it's easy to be like, okay, we need plates, we need to fill this home. Christian and I will probably be in Brooklyn for the rest of our lives, and have hopefully houses other places. But for now, we have our place in Brooklyn, and we hope to be in Brooklyn for a long time. So coming up with big items is can be a little bit tricky. But I think that my approach when I started working on this and started curating my registry on Verishop was really thinking about just, the really novel pieces that I'm not necessarily going to buy for myself on any given day, but pieces that, really speak to me, that really add life to a space, and some of those like really fun things that I can pull out on occasion. Another thing is that, because we only have a 600 square foot apartment, I don't want to receive a ton of packages. I already receive so much product, and I really just wanted my registry to be really intentional, really meaningful, and have pieces that I genuinely love. So I'm going to start by sharing a couple of the pieces with you. The first is this beautiful vase that um, I got from Verishop. Ooh, uh-oh, am I still here? Can you guys see me? Okay, hold on. What am I doing? I think that I don't know how to get out of here. Okay, I'm back. Okay, here we go. So this is this beautiful vase from Vietri. It was funny as I was, going through the website and curating this list. I really fell in love. I love just like the beautiful waves of this. And it's really big. I would say it's probably like a foot and a half, which I was not expecting, but I think that's what makes it honestly like so novel and so beautiful, is that I have these really tall sticks, which unfortunately the blooms are dying, but they're probably about 6 feet tall. And I just love the way that like huge flowers look in this. I've also put just like Asian lilies in here, and it's just stunning. I think that the way the waves in the glass really bring the light through and like make it shine, especially in our very sunlit apartment. So I love this piece. Also, if you've been here before, you know that anything that I share on here, and I think anything on Verishop after, you can also go and shop my entire wedding collection. Um, Everything is going to be discounted. So, for example, this is originally $124, comes down to 105, which is incredible. I think that this is also just a great resource for if you have someone who's getting married. I know that it's a pretty big thing um, to also, when you do destination weddings, to like not have a registry, but I know a lot of people still want to get the bride and groom something. So my wedding collection is a great place for you to start if you're working on a registry, or if you're just buying something for someone who just got engaged or is getting married. There are so many pieces on there that I really, really love, and really hoping that we will be receiving some of them. But yeah, this vase is just it's a masterpiece. I love it so much. It's so beautiful. It makes me so happy. I also love putting it just like, I'll put it on the floor over here, which I think is just, adds to this Nancy Myers vibe, which I obviously love. Yeah, I think like vases are a beautiful gift. And I think that it's something that's so great to ask for on a wedding registry because, you know, adding fresh blooms. I'm going to show you this other vase that I have. We always have fresh blooms in our apartment, and one of my like biggest things is always adding life to the space. So having beautiful vases is just something that you can always collect and always add to, and they never really go out of style. There's something that you can always turn to, and a piece that you can always really switch out within your home to refresh it and give it new life. So that is one of my very favorite pieces. I want to gift this to so many people in my life, married or not, getting married or not. I just think that it's such a beautiful piece. And I think that that's really how I'm approaching my wedding registry, is thinking about things that are timeless and that I love and that are novel and that just bring me a lot of joy and happiness when I bring them out. So that's the first one. The second one is going to be, so I've actually repurposed this. This is the baguette tray. Let me pull it up on here. So this is funny because I just loved the shape of this, and I've used it for baguettes ever since I bought it, and then I realized that my baguettes were going um, stale. But I'm gonna bring it out here because you can sort of see it better just in this light. So I usually will have it, if it has a baguette in it, I'll have it on my countertop with a baguette, which is beautiful. But I also love that it's just a piece that's like super versatile and that I can put at my front door and use as sort of a catch-all. I think that like the waves in it and just the material are so beautiful. Obviously I can like throw my sunglasses, sort of like anything. My wallet will go in here. Anything that I need to grab as I'm walking out the door, or anything that I need to remember. Christian has a little cigar here. So perfect on theme piece for the wedding, more celebratory stuff. Again, like I think that this is something that is just so beautiful, and not something that, I'm not normally going to just go out and be like, let me spend $200 on a tray for my bread that I occasionally have in my apartment. But once you have it, it is truly just like, just such a joy to have. So I love that. It's one of my favorite things. I wasn't really sure if I was going to use it or if it was going to sort of put away into a cupboard or like, a cabinet while I wasn't using it. And then once I decided to use that with a different purpose and use that at my front door as a catch-all, it really changed it. And I think that that's, something that I love doing with anything that I have that really feels novel. I don't want it to sit in a cabinet. I don't want it to be hidden and only taken out on occasion. I really want these things to be pieces that I'm able to appreciate and enjoy as often as I possibly can. That brings me to my next thing, which are plates. So plates and bowls and tableware and just everything. I think that this is something that so many people are adding to their registries. And funny enough for me, it's just something that's so hard for me to decide on. We have needed new tableware for so long. Ours is actually just like hand-me-downs from one of our old roommates, and it's beautiful, but it's like old china. And I will get back to the china point in a second, but it has like gold foil on it, maybe even real gold, so you can't microwave it. It wears when you dishwash it. It's just not practical for everyday use. And that's what's really hard about having it as our main plateware is that, when we want to just reheat something or eat leftovers, we have to use different containers. It's just, a pain. So we've been thinking a lot about what tableware we want, and it's funny because I see this on everyone's registries, but it's something that we love to, like, every time I'm taking a photo of my food or anything like that, the first thing that I see is the tableware, the plates, and, even the silverware and things like that. So I wanted to be really intentional about this. And so as I was browsing Verishop and working on my wedding collection, there were so many beautiful pieces. And I think that what I realized was we don't need to corner ourselves into like one specific aesthetic. Um, I, there's so many different things that I love. And I think that just following people on social media, like seeing it in magazines, like we always need to have like this like very curated, like perfect all looks alike, like matching sets. But I actually think that that's something that will sort of a trend that will pass in the next few years, especially with tableware. I've already started to see it a little bit from designers that I follow, is really just curating like beautiful plates, and like they don't have to match, they don't have to all go together. And that is why I decided to add these beautiful Vietri like floral plates to my collection. I actually like we've been using them so much, and I probably should have washed them before because I think that they might all be dirty in my dishwasher. But let's see if I have one that's like clean enough to show. This is kind of gross. I'm sorry. Um, these are them. They're beautiful. They're all different. I love how it's a set of four, and each one of them looks completely different, but all is in the same color family of whites and greens, which I love, and is just like, especially for spring, is so beautiful. And then like we mix and match them with these little bowls that we have. So everything is sort of just mix and match, which I love. I think that it's really fun, and I also think that it just brings a lot of joy when I decide to like reach for something, or even when I have people over and we all have different plates. Obviously, I think where like the wedding registry comes into place is when you're curating your wedding registry, it's thinking about how do these pieces go together. I don't want to have like random plastic plates or like something that's like lower quality mixed with them, but I want them to all be high quality and all beautiful but all shine in their own light, which is what I love about this set. It's something where every plate is different, so everyone has sort of a different experience, and it doesn't look so matchy, which I think can be really beautiful. But I also love that everything is so different. For me, at least, like I feel like there are so many different ways to style different, you know, different themes or different aesthetics. I definitely don't fall into a specific aesthetic, especially within my home. Like, not everything is mid-century modern. Things are pretty neutral around here, but I also love a lot of pattern, and I love to incorporate a lot of color in certain areas. So I think that like when I think about hosting dinner parties, even when I'm just sitting down to have dinner with Christian, having those beautiful pieces that we can pull out at any time is just a luxury. Um, I do want to come back to this talk about China, which, I think is a little bit antiquated for our generation, but obviously in our parents' generations and our grandparents, one of the biggest things on your wedding registry was the China. And I actually think that I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that you were given the china that you would be eating off of. I now I feel like as I'm saying this, I feel like this is wrong. But the china that you were given was like what you ate off of at your wedding, which I think is a very beautiful tradition, and like, you know, sort of just becomes a memento of that day. But at the same time, a lot of people, most people, I would say, they took their wedding china that, you know, was so expensive, that was like encrusted with gold and all of these different things, and they put that in their china cabinet and sort of never broke it out, you know, maybe once a year, maybe on like very special occasions. But it almost was just like a display, which I think is beautiful. But at the same time, I think that it's really fun to actually use that china. Like, I know that we have a set of china down in Florida with some of my family that we just haven't brought up yet. But it was never really used, and it's so beautiful. And I think that it's like, if you have these beautiful pieces, you want to be able to use them. You don't want them to sit in a cabinet, especially when it's, you know, these like expensive plates. I think of sort of everything in my life as the cost to wear or the cost per use, which is, you know, a sustainable mentality that we can have with sort of everything that we own. If I'm buying a $300 shirt versus a $30 shirt from Zara, like the Zara shirt probably won't last me as long. The $300 shirt will probably last me a lot longer. And honestly, like the cost per wear may come down a lot more, is higher quality, obviously empowers other people. It's a whole tangent on its own. But I really do think, like, if we think about the cost per use, then, you know, if we're going to have these beautiful, expensive things, then we might as well use them. And that's sort of the approach that I am taking with everything that I am, you know, that I've curated on Verishop for this wedding collection. Now that I accidentally made that mistake and can show, are you guys, I think you guys are seeing my screen. But let me show you my actual collection because it's really fun. So it's called Wedding, it's public, and we can just go through a couple of the things on here that I really love. So first of all, wait, let me just check to make sure. Okay. I hope that you guys are able to see this. But so like the first thing I think too is like really thinking about what are those things that you've been wanting to upgrade in your home, that you just haven't, because you're fine with what you have, but like, you know, you would love like a more luxurious towel, for example. Those are the things that I think are the perfect things to add, because there'll be those little luxuries that you don't have to, you know, get like pay for yourself, that they become gifts, but they're beautiful things that you will use every day. So like these towels, I also love the Turkish cotton towels. My future mother-in-law got some for her house in Florida, and we use them over Christmas, and I just love the way that they feel. So those are amazing. Also, you know, like probably wouldn't go and just like buy random new towels unless I really needed them. But for my wedding registry, that feels like something that is just a luxury. We have some like pretty basic things, because a lot of people who have gotten married recently, their advice to me has been really like, you know, incorporate things in all price ranges, because some people may only want to spend $50 or $60, and other people may want to get you much more novel items. So, you know, things like a really good pair of kitchen shears, that's just something that we need and like that we'll always need. And if you buy a good pair, then you never really have to replace them. Um, I think a cake cutter is just so fun. And I loved this one because this olive green just was beautiful to me. I loved that. Cutting boards, we always need more of. The citrus juicer, again, like we have the citrus juicer attachment for our KitchenAid, but I just think that like this is something that would be really fun to have on our countertop as we're, you know, making juices, or on a Saturday morning, or when we're having people over, or mixing drinks or whatever. Um, and then I also added some things like the bowl that matches um, the plates that I got from Vietri, and just so beautiful. I think that again, it's really fun to like mix and match, but have things in the same family as each other. And then I actually have this fellow electric kettle and I am obsessed with it. So I just had to add it on here just as inspiration to anyone else who's creating their wedding registry or needing some ideas, because it's something that we use every single morning. It's incredible. It looks so beautiful on the countertop and we just love it. So that's a great thing to ask for as a gift. And especially for the wedding registry, people love buying you kitchen appliances and things for your home. So that's a great one to have on there. Steak knives, something that we have needed for so long. And I just love these. I love the way that they look. They're just so classic, and have a little bit of flair to them. But they can pair really easily with basic silverware. I think like even just like these hampers and every all of these other little pieces, candle holders. I am obsessed with these George Jensen candle holders. I've had them earmarked for probably 2 years now. I actually remember, I think not this past holiday season, but the year before, I had added these as like a part of my gift guide, and a couple of the girls in my community ordered them as gifts for people and just said that they were so beautiful. Um, so I am obsessed with those. I think anything that we can add into our living spaces that just, amplify the vibe is worth putting on the wedding registry. I mean, they're just stunning. I love how this is the floor one, so I think that it's pretty tall. Yeah. I mean, that is huge. But it's really just like a sculptural piece of art that lives in your apartment. We also have the Arc, and it is a game changer. I have a lot of friends and family who have a soda stream. And I actually think that Verishop also has a soda stream on here, but the Arc is just, again, a piece of art that like I have on my windowsill in my kitchen, and it is stunning. And it's something where it's like, okay, do we need a $230 seltzer maker? Maybe not, but like a great piece to add to your wedding registry to always just like have there. And if you drink seltzer, you use it all the time. It's incredible. So really, I could go on about all of this. All of these little pieces here with the frills and the silver are from that same collection of Arthur Court designs, as my baguette tray. And I love the way that they sort of just all go together, and they're not like too perfect, but they're just beautiful. They really like are agreeable pieces that have sculpture to them, have dimension to them, and are like asymmetrical, which I think is so fun. I also, I had to add in this giraffe picture because I have an obsession with giraffes. My giraffe light, I guess, at my front door now. But I love giraffes, and I think that it's just like a silly, fun thing. We're also planning on doing an African safari for a honeymoon. So adding things like that are just always so fun. Okay, how do I get out of this? Um, this is so funny. Christian just said, I already see me getting yelled at for using the nice towels on Bo, not knowing the difference. Yeah. So, a common theme in our relationship is Christian just using things for the dog that the dog does not need. So I think that like too, it's going to be a fun and maybe a little bit of a frustrating experience to create a wedding registry with Christian. We've seen a little bit of just like a little bit of tension here and there about trying to figure out certain things to add. He would love to add like a 75-inch TV to our wedding registry. And I think that that is just so unnecessary. But I also think adding things that are really useful, like a Dyson vacuum, or, any of these like really beautiful pieces, something that's really fun is, especially when you're doing something like wedding registry shopping, is going and just for shits and giggles, like going on to Verishop and going to the home section and filtering from most expensive to least expensive, just to see like what stuff is happening, or like all of the stuff that's coming up that's beautiful that you wouldn't normally buy. I actually usually do the opposite, and I'll filter from least expensive to most expensive to see what comes up that like piques my interest. But I think that there is this luxury of, hypothetically, we get married once and we have one time to ask for these beautiful pieces and really just like create memories from people who are giving them to us. So, anyway, I hope that this helped answer any of your questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, and make sure to view my entire wedding collection. I am continuing to add to it as I go. It is really just such a fun project to go through Verishop and go through the new arrivals each week and see what else I can add. And I also think that's just a huge luxury of getting married in 2023 is that I have, the luxury of time to continue to iterate and change things. I also think that it's fun to create a registry like this so far in advance because as in over the holiday season, obviously like 9 months from now or however long that is, 8 months from now, um, people can also go to our registry and like buy us stuff before our wedding or like buy that as gifts or like, it really sort of just becomes this evolving wish list for the couple, which I think is amazing. I know my future sister-in-law, she got married in October and she like just kept her wedding registry live and still has it live, said that she'll probably never take it down because it's something that people can always go to and reference when they want to buy a gift for the couple. They just moved into a new apartment, so we can go onto that wedding registry and see, like what's a good housewarming gift that we can get them that we know that they want, that's already on there. But I love Verishop. They have, just the coolest brands that are incredible and, so interesting and that are unlike, other brands that we're seeing elsewhere. But they also do have a lot of those, really fun brands and pieces too that you can buy elsewhere. One of my favorite things about Verishop, though, is that the shipping is so fast. I think I ordered and received this large vase that I shared first. I received it within like 2 days. Obviously, not every single item ships that quickly, but a lot of them do ship super, super fast, which is incredible and just makes it all the more worth it. Anyway, please make sure to check out my wedding collection, and there's an entire feature on the site under the wedding collections page, where you can find a little bit more about me, more about my collection, and everything that I've curated. I will continue to add to this over the coming months, and I will be sharing everything that I end up adding to there. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for tuning in to my Wedding Wednesday live stream. I will catch you guys all soon. And yeah, stay up to date on my Verishop. I'll continue adding things on here. Bye.